Prospects are prospects. You never know what you're going to get with them. For instance, Matt Moore was ranked higher than both Mike Trout and Bryce Harper back in 2012, but has a WAR of 9.3 through 12 seasons, while Trout and Harper have posted higher marks than that in a single season. And the opposite can be true too. Mike Piazza was never a top prospect out of college, was taken in the 62nd round of the draft, which doesn't even exist anymore, but carved his path to the big leagues where he put together a Hall of Fame career. With all this being said, I'm not saying Cooperstown is on the horizon for Blue Jays rookie Davis Schneider, but he could be another example of a low-ranked prospect shining when the lights get brightest. After all, in 2023, he had the greatest start to a career in MLB history. As mentioned, Davis Schneider was never a top prospect growing up and was taken in the 28th round of the 2017 draft. At that point in time, he was just a scrawny high schooler with little power, which showed in his first few seasons in the professional game, with a cumulative slugging percentage around 400 at rookie ball, the lowest level in the minor leagues. But he pushed through, and in 2021, he found himself at High A, where he posted his first season with an OPS of over 800, albeit at the expense of his batting average dipping fairly low to just 229, but the power he displayed was a big sign of improvement, and it came with a lot of hard work leading up to the season. He said he added 10 pounds of good weight in the last year plus, and the results followed. He later went on to add, "I've always been a fly ball hitter. I feel like I just got a lot stronger this past year, and the warning track fly balls I used to hit are going over the wall." Because of this newfound power, he started to creep onto the Jays' radar, and in 2022 he found himself on the field far more than before with 454 plate appearances, beating out his previous career best of 216 comfortably. He also made his way up to AA and AAA during this time, where he posted 22 doubles, 16 homers, and 56 RBIs, while posting a slash line including an over 800 OPS for the second year in a row. Then last season, he made a change to his swing with the addition of a toe tap that was designed for him to consistently get into his lower half as quickly as possible, adding more bat speed. And what ensued was finally his breakout year. Before his call up to the majors, Schneider clubbed 21 doubles and 21 homers in just 87 games, as well as a slash line which included an OPS of almost 1,000. He was doing this in his first full season at AAA, and what's incredible is that he wasn't even on the club's top 30 prospects list entering the season. Yet he was becoming the prime candidate to be called up to help fix the Jays' struggling bats, which all started on August 4th at Fenway Park. Being a New Jersey native, Fenway isn't that far from his hometown. Because of this, he had many friends and family in attendance to witness his debut, and he did not disappoint. After getting started off in his first at-bat with a ball from Red Sox pitcher James Paxton, he fouled off the second pitch before unleashing a mammoth shot over the monster, becoming just the fourth Blue Jays player ever to homer in his first career at-bat. Schneider went on to finish the game a respectable 2 for 5 following a weak ground ball hit to second base that he was able to hustle and beat out, with the second baseman not expecting his speed up the base path. To me, this was when he officially earned my respect, because how often do we see players just jog up the line on a ball hit like that? Practically every time. Even his teammate Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been known to half run up the line even on balls hit to the warning track. That's why I love watching players who just got called up, because they know with one bad game their career could go into a massive downward spiral, so they go 110% every single play. And with his historic performance, he bought himself another starting spot in the lineup the following day. This is the game most people recognize as the one the Red Sox made a huge mental error. In the bottom of the ninth, with the score 5-4 in the Jays' favor, the Sox were threatening with the winning run on first base with just 1 out, and Connor Wong drew up against the Jays' closer at the time, Eric Swanson. For the season, Swanson was fantastic, often brought out by the Blue Jays on very little rest, and more often than not got the job done with an elite 2.97 ERA. But in the absence of star closer Jordan Romano, he was thrusted into the closing role, a position where he was suffering in. For the 2023 season, he was great in every inning he worked in, except for the ninth, where he posted an ERA of 9.82, and the Sox were looking to take full advantage of this as Connor Wong lifted the ball into deep left field.
Swinging a high fly ball, deep left center, way back to the wall, and leaping up to make the catch. The wire was way off the bag and rounded.
With the ball dying right in front of the wall, the walk-off homer turned into a game-ending double play because Reese McGuire and the third base coach jumped the gun. But this moment would have never happened if it weren't for Schneider's fantastic game, going 3 for 3 with 3 singles, all line drives including one to left, center, and right field. He also scored the go-ahead run in the top of the 6th inning off the bat of Brandon Belt, which turned out to be very decisive with the final score separated by just 1 run. Once again, his great performance earned him the start the following day, this time in the 3 spot all the way up from batting 7th and 8th the previous few days. And now in a better position to drive home runs in the front of the lineup, he succeeded, knocking in 4 thanks in part to a 2-run homer, a clutch RBI hit by pitch, and RBI single in the 7th as he finished the night 4 for 5, rounding out the weekend series with 9 hits and 13 at-bats, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, and an OPS of 1,887, solidifying his spot in the lineup, especially with the absence of Bo Bichette, who injured his knee just a couple days prior. His torrid run continued throughout the next month or so, being the hero the Jays needed in practically every series, and by the time he finished his 25th game in the big leagues, he already had crooked numbers with 21 runs, 18 extra base hits, and 20 RBIs, as well as 19 walks and an unbelievable OPS which topped 1,300. Just take a listen to some of these long-standing MLB records he broke. For starters, the highest OPS in MLB history through a player's first 14 games with a minimum of 35 plate appearances was set by Taylor Teagarden back in 2008 when he posted a ridiculous 1,362 mark. And if we go back even further, this record was held for almost 40 years by Lou Gehrig when he tossed up an OPS of 1,250. Schneider annihilated this record with a 1,420 mark, a comfortable 58 points above second place. But what's more impressive is that this hot streak wasn't just 2 weeks long, it was double that. Through a player's first 25 games, the record for highest OPS was held for almost a century by a man named Mandy Brooks, who was out of the league in the next season. But anyways, other guys on this leaderboard include Hall of Famer Willie McCovey, who had an 1140 figure, and future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols with an 1149. Those are the names of players Davis Schneider beat out in his first quarter century of games, and just by looking at him, you wouldn't think that this comparatively small 5'9", 190-pound second baseman would be outslugging guys like Albert Pujols, who looked like a literal man when he debuted at just 21 years old. It truly seemed like he was the missing player to drive in runs the Jays desperately needed all season long, and with him, they look like a completely new offense, scoring 5.6 runs per game during this time, compared to just the 4.5 they scored in the 25 games leading up to his promotion. But all good things must come to an end, and following his 2-for-4 performance with a homer and double on September 12th, he fell off a cliff, getting 0 hits in his next 31 at-bats, which was mind-boggling since the streak started off the heels of a 2 extra base hit game. But I won't be naive because everyone would have comfortably assumed a drop-off, but not to this great of an extent. In fact, his 0 for streak was the 5th worst in baseball in 2023, funny enough tied with his teammate George Springer, who also went through his fair share of struggles. Schneider ultimately broke out of the slump with a 2-for-4 performance with 2 doubles against southpaw Jacob Lopez on the final day of the season to officially finish his first year at the major league level with 12 doubles, 8 homers, and 20 RBIs in 35 games, as well as a slash line with impressive on-base and slugging metrics. This year truly had everything, from his record-breaking start to his career to one of the worst streaks in all of baseball right after. All of this in just a 58-day span. So it will be interesting to see what type of player he will be over the course of a full season, as he looks geared to get many reps in multiple positions for the Blue Jays. And as I stated in a previous video, athletes have to remain in a neutral state to perform to the best of their abilities. They can't get too high on the highs, which he's already shown maturity in when he stated, "I don't want to ever be complacent. I don't want to ever be like, I made it and I just want to stay right here. I still want to try to do great things and try to do a little bit better than what I did last year." He also showed he didn't get caught up on the 0 for streak, stating, "No matter how high you are, you're going to have that low to where you're going to feel like this is the end of the world." But I didn't really feel like that last year. To me, that is the best indicator of when a player is in a great mental position to keep battling on the field and earn a spot as an everyday player. That's why I'm a believer in him, and I'm very excited to see how he fares in 2024. That wraps it up for this video. Let me know your thoughts about Davis Schneider's crazy streak in the comments, and if you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button to help the channel reach more like-minded people, as well as subscribing to help reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. We're ways away, so your support would mean the world to me. Alright, thank you in advance, and I'll see you in the next one.